Hello everyone, thank you for joining my presentation on my new social media site, PulseWire. In this presentation, I'm going to go over some of the key features of the application, some of the technologies that the application uses, when it'll be ready, and I'll show off some of the work in progress screenshots as well. So I am Bryson Meyer, the team lead, but we also have my other team members, Ashley Levette, who is our senior developer, and Josh Shepard, who is our junior developer. Both of them are showing a lot of promise and they've done great work so far. So I'm excited to keep going with this project and see them grow. So anyway, what is the goal of PulseWire? So as I mentioned before, PulseWire is a social media application, and it'll be something very similar to X, formerly known as Twitter, or Threads, which is a new social media platform launched by Meta about a month and a half ago. So the main reason I wanted to make PulseWire is that a lot of customers in the market and a lot of users are very dissatisfied with sites like X and Threads. That's for many reasons. Ever since X has went under new management, there's been a lot of complaints. And, I can see a lot of the issues with these platforms myself. So I would like to make my own and try to compete with them. So it'll have very similar features. As you can see here on the right, this is a screenshot of Twitter. And PulseWire will be pretty similar to this. You can see an account, which in this case is just an example account that has a handle named handle and display name that is display name. And you can make a post. Here it's just lorem ipsum, but you can make a post and other people can see it. And you can like it. You can respond to it, things like that. So the goal of PulseWire with this is to enter the market and compete with them and to succeed them in a way. To try to work out the flaws that a lot of these other sites have that have a similar concept. So at a high level view, what are the features of the site? Well, it's going to be broken into three main components: user management, post creation and management, and interactions with others. So the user management exists as a gateway to provide the user to accomplish the other two features of the site, which will be the main selling point, and that's post creation and management and interaction. The site will all be based off of making posts, letting other people see your posts, and letting you view others. So these are really the core features of the site. So the first part is user management. And users will be able to do a few things with their account to create it in management. So the first thing is that all users will be able to create an account with a username, display name, and password. There are a few other elements that go into a user account, but the required ones are username, display name, and password. Your username is going to be unchangeable. It's going to be what identifies you to the database and to the entire platform. So that will not be able to be changed. Your display name you can change at will, and as well as your password. But the username is essentially what we're going to use to identify you. So users will also be able to edit their account information. Like I said, this does not include the username, but it does include the display name and password, and also a feature I haven't touched upon yet, or rather an attribute of a user, which is the bio. And a bio is going to be a short, typed out description of the user that they provide for themselves. It can be what they do, what they're into, pretty much they can put anything there as long as it doesn't go against terms of service. And it'll just give a brief explanation about them. And finally, the user will be able to sign into the site using their username and password, which they created, to access the essential features, which, as mentioned earlier, are the post creation management and interaction with others elements of the site. So next up is post creation and management. Users will be able to do the following. Once they are logged in, they'll be able to create a post with text content that can be viewed by others. The posts on PulseWire are going to be primarily text-based. If development goes along well enough, then we will include other formats that the user will be able to upload, such as images, maybe videos. But for now, we're going to keep it to text because that is overwhelmingly what most users use these sites for, is just to post text. In these users, once they have created a post of their own, they can edit the post content afterward. They can't edit like when the post was created or anything like that, but they can edit the content that's within the post. So in this case, the text, and of course, they can only edit the post content of their own posts. It would be a little broken if a user would be able to edit the post of another user. So the final element of the site is interaction with others. Users will be able to do the following. They'll be able to see posts from others, either on the home page, which will list all of the most recent posts on the platform, or on the profile page of another user, which displays all the posts that that one user has made. And in all of these cases, wherever the posts are displayed, it will be sorted from most recent at the top to least recent at the bottom. So users will always see the newest information from other users at the top of their page. Another ability that the users will have is they'll be able to click on the display name of another user to view their profile page. So when a post appears in your feed, either on the home page or on the profile page of another user, you'll see their display name and their username at the top. If you click on either of those, it will take you to their specific profile page, and there you can view all the information about that user specifically. Another feature is that they will be able to like the posts of others, increasing the total likes of a post by 1. However, they can also like their own posts. So likes are essentially going to be a number that is displayed on the post to show how many people liked the post. Users will be able to like any post on the site, and that like number will be displayed to other users, not just the creator of the post. It'll be displayed to everyone. It'll be part of the post box that has all of the information with the post. So that's all of the main features of the site. If you use anything like X or Threads before, this seems very familiar to you. At its core, PulseWire is going to be very similar to these platforms. So for my developers or more technically inclined out there, just a quick overview of our tech stack. So we use a few different technologies for both the front end and the back end. The front end, we're using the Angular framework, which is one of my favorites. I think it's really simple, easy to develop with. I like it a lot. And within this framework, we'll be using pretty basic languages, HTML and CSS, of course, to display and design the content on the front end, and TypeScript, which we're going to use to connect the front end to the back end. And the back end is where, of course, all the heavy lifting of the site is going to be done. And for that, we'll be using Java with Spring Boot to connect any user supplied data to the database. And then we'll be using MySQL for the database, which will hold our entries for things like users and posts and stuff like that. Okay, so now that we're through all of the technical mumbo jumbo, here's some screenshots on progress of the site. Now, I'd like to mention going forward that this is almost certainly not the final look of the site. We're still in early development stages, and none of the functionality has been made yet. But we're just in the part of the project where we kind of want to see how it's going to look and make sure that we have the basics so that we can create the backend functionality. So first up is the home page. The home page, as you can see here, is going to have a little welcome message at the top and a brief little message about the platform. It says PulseWire is a social media site designed to help connect to others. Take a look at some of the most recent posts below. And these are just some placeholder posts for now, but you can see going from top to bottom, it is sorted from most to least recent. And at the very bottom, there'll be a back to top button. This obviously isn't very important right now. There's only 3 posts. But once the site gets more posts, you're going to definitely want to use that button because you can scroll down pretty far if there are a lot of posts. So next up is the About page. The About page has no back-end functionality. It's just a few paragraphs on PulseWire and what it is and how it works, and also about the team that has made it, which I briefly discussed earlier. So, nothing too crazy, but it's an essential page for new users. Next up is the sign up page. This is going to be where you create your account. And as mentioned before, there are 3 or 2 required fields. No, my bad, 3. Email, password, and the repeat password. I'm just now realizing that we don't have a username field, which I will create shortly after this. But that's going to be the required fields. And then you can just put them in there. Once you hit sign up, it'll create your account and it'll be in the database. Next up is the login page, which is very similar to the sign up page, but just with less fields. The only two things you need to log in are your username and your password. Your username being your unique identifier and your password being what gives you access to your account. So that's what's happening there. And then next is the profile page. So the profile page is going to be what appears when you click on either display name or the username of any user on the site within their post box. So just as an example, this is a page for actor Tom Holland. You can see in his posts at the top, there is at Tom_Holland, and just Tom Holland is the display name. If you click on either of those, it will take you to this page. And on the profile page, it shows the post on the bottom, and at the top, it shows the information for that user. So you see his username at the very top, then his display name, his follower count, and his bio, which is that long string of text there. And also, another very important, yet not as glamorous page of the site is the 404 page. This is the page that shows up whenever you accidentally access a URL that isn't present on the site. So if you just did like / bunch of random numbers or letters, this is going to be what the page takes you to, just if you ever navigate to something that isn't on the site. And it gives you a little link to return to the home page. Also, I wanted to mention, even though it's not a page, you can see across all of these screenshots the nav bar on the top. It's pretty basic, but it just lets you easily navigate the site. So you have a link for the home page, the about page, the profile page for the user that is signed in, the sign up page, and the login page. There may be more that is added to here as time goes on, but for now, these are our essential pages. So that's what we have in the nav bar. Along with the features that I've presented to you all today, we also have a few potential features that we may add if development goes well. So far, I think that development is going very well. So a lot of these may be implemented, but it's just not certain yet. But let's go over them quickly. So the first is that a follow system will be implemented. And the follow system really isn't going to have too much weight on the site, as the posts will still be displayed the same no matter if you follow a user or not, but it will increase their a user's follower count if you look at their profile page, which basically just tells you how popular they are. The more followers they have, the more people find their posts interesting, or the more people like that person, whatever. Another feature is that users will be able to reply to posts. This will be mostly simple in execution, or at least mostly simple for the front-end user. May be hard to create, but it's going to be just, you can reply to any post you see with your own message or post underneath it, and it creates a thread of sorts to which many users can reply. Users will be able to search the entire site for posts by keywords. This will be very useful if you were trying to narrow down posts about a certain topic. So let's say you wanted to search for posts about cats for whatever reason. You go to the search bar, put in cat or cats. It goes through the site and finds every post that has that keyword in it. And as with everywhere else on the site, it'll sort it from most to least recent. And then finally, users will be able to include content types other than text in their posts. I actually mentioned this earlier, so I won't cover it too much, but basically users will be able to upload things like images and videos as well as text. But I'd say this is probably the least important stretch goal, as like I said before, most posts on these sites would be text anyway. So we're going to probably save that one for last. So final thing, the project timeline. Like as I mentioned earlier, the development's going very well. The front-end HTML work is mostly completed. Anything else that's added is going to be pretty minor or just some updates. There's been a little bit of styling done, but we still have to work on the bulk of that, but that shouldn't take too long. Back-end work is beginning next week, actually, so I really do think that my team does great work and will be able to get through this quickly. So I'd have to say that the minimum viable product should be available in about 2 months' time. By then, all of the essential features of the site will be developed, and the site will be good to go. So that is the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this project has caught your eye. I'll be sure to keep up future updates as development goes along. Thank you.